Greetings all. In this video I'm going to be taking a Knight Arcanum from the Age of Sigmar and making her into a Canoness for my Sisters of Battle force I have that's sitting there waiting to be built and painted. Now, there is a bit of an elephant in the room with this one, I guess. The Knight Arcanum is quite a bit taller than the Sisters of Battle are. I took a comparison photo of her with my Dogmata to show this fact, and it's quite a bit obvious when they stand next to one another. Now, I did work this out pretty early on when I decided to do this kit bash and compared the models. However, I decided to plow ahead with this one anyway for a few reasons. The first being that she kind of looks cool, and the second being there are known abhumans who are quite a bit taller than normal humans in the universe, the Ogryns being an example of this. So hey, that's what I've gone with. Anyway, with the excuses over, let's get to the kit bash. My starting point here will be to sort the arms out. The left one will be fairly easy. First up, I took my clippers and I'm removing this nice twin-tailed comet staff by taking off the whole hand, cleaning up the area with my knife after to make a good join for the replacement. Now that replacement will be this empty open hand from the Blood Bowl Wood Elf team that I had left over, though the Battle Sisters kit has many hands holding various relics and weapons that could be used instead. Taking my clippers, I can cut it off at the wrist, trim with the knife if needed, and then glue into place on that left arm, which, as I no longer need to work on this part, I can attach it to where it belongs on the body. For her right arm, I'm going to give her a Condemner bolt gun, and to give her a veteran look, I'm going to use this here Necron arm with some heavy modifications to it to give her a mechanical limb. To begin with, I will need to take off the Necron gun with my clippers. I'll also need to carefully remove the top of the handle as well, so that the bolter can sit nicely. Now, after comparing the gun and the hand, I worked out that I would need to make a series of trims to both the gun casing and the Necron thumb in order to get the two to fit together sensibly. These were done with my knife and compared often to make sure that everything was lining up nicely. And when I was happy with it all, I could glue it together with some plastic glue. With the original arm, I would need to remove the shoulder pad because I want to keep that part. This was easy enough to do, just clip off and tidy with the knife. Though, to make it easier for me to work out what I needed to trim later, I would not be gluing it in place just yet. I could then work on trimming out the remnants of this arm from the sleeve with my clippers and tidying it up with the knife. It will be mostly covered later on, but it's still good practice to smooth these areas out. If you always do something, you are less likely to forget it. Next up, that Necron arm is way too bent for what I want, so I'm going to trim it off at the elbow and clean the joint area up with my knife around this little joint that goes on their elbow thingy. So I can straighten this up later on, but before I do that, I figured it would be a good idea to start shaping that upper arm so it can fit into the sleeve area a bit better. A quick test fit to see if anything else needs trimming, and I can look towards attaching the upper and lower arms together. Once the upper and lower arms have been glued together, another adjustment to the arm. I'm going to shorten the forearm by quite a bit, as it is quite long. I did this with my clippers and tested the fit, but did not glue it yet, as I wanted to add the arm to the body first. Before I could do that, however, I would need to assemble said body, minus the shoulder, using some plastic glue and giving all the important bits a real good squeeze to get them joined nice and tight. Now that is done, I can come in with some glue and attach that arm to the body and then drop on the shoulder pad. So the next thing I did was to glue the hand to the arm. However, caveat here, later on I decided that I wanted to shorten this a little bit more, so I snipped it off, shortened the forearm a bit more. Sometimes we do have to go back and fix their mistakes. With the arm attached and the glue setting nicely, I can turn my attention to the shoulder pad. Not only did I forget to remove a sprue tab, it also has what I'm assuming is Sigmar face on it, which isn't going to work too well for a Canoness and may raise some eyebrows. So with a lot of small trims and scraping of the blade, I can take that shoulder back to a nice smooth surface. I also elected to do the same with the gem on the scabbard. Not an essential thing, I suppose, but I thought I had a spare Inquisition symbol to stick on there. It turns out I did not, but oh well, a drop of plastic glue, and then the scabbard can go onto her waist, giving her a nice close combat option to go with that Condemner bolt gun. Before moving on to the green stuffing phase of the model, I would need to do a few bits of tidying up. First, snipping off the tab that would normally hold the book to her waist, which the Knight Arcanum normally has, but I used on my chaplain. I also would need to glue on the left shoulder pad and the arms for the crossbow part of her weapon. I chose not to adjust the left shoulder symbols, as I like the book, and I feel that it's something that the sisters would definitely have on their gear. With those done, it is on to some green stuff. Taking myself an equal amount of the blue and yellow, I mix them together thoroughly and take a small ball to press into the gap on her waist. Then, using my tools, I can try and create the shape of her robe as best I can. Although I do not have to be too precise here, as I am going to cover it up later on. But it is nice to at least try. Another small ball of green stuff is rolled up and placed into the neck area to fill the gap left by not using the head that came with the kit. Because the newer models are trying their best to make life difficult for kit bashers, they don't have a neck. Little do they know, we are quite a stubborn and persistent bunch. Finally, another ball is added to the back of the power pack. As this lady doesn't have the right fittings for one, I'm going to have to form something similar with some green stuff, shaping it with my tools so that it sort of blends in with the armor. Again, this does not have to be too precise, as it is not a very noticeable area back here. And with that, the green stuff work is done. Nice and simple. Once that putty has had some time to set, I'm going to take this here set of grenades, in this case from the Reaver kit. I'm going to have to trim the little tab off of these, and then I can use them to cover up the green stuff area on her waist, using some super glue and my tweezers to attach it, because I've learned that my fingers are far too large to super glue these small things safely. I am also taking this little dangly relic-y thing and hoping to attach it to her waist again next to the grenades, as I didn't feel she had quite enough decorations for a canoness, or even a battle sister. Honestly, if I had any more purity seals lying around, they would probably all be on this model. The poor girl would be a total fire hazard. Luckily, I have run out. For her head, I have this nice hooded one from the Celestian Sacrosancts. I was going to go with a helmet for ease of painting, but the bionic eye really sold it to me to match her bionic arm. Perhaps most of her right side is bionic. Now this will first need the tab taken off, and then a drop of super glue, as I'm attaching it to the putty, can be added, and then her head can be glued in place. One more thing before this lady is ready to go and bash some heretics' faces in. I have this little candelabra spare from the Dogmata kit, and with a little trimming to remove the backpack part from it, I can glue it into place on her backpack. I had originally thought to put it on top of her massive collar, but a quick test fit showed that it did look a little bit ridiculous. So backpack it is. And with that, she is ready for some basing and paint, resulting in this, my fairly tall canoness. I had originally intended to maybe run my sisters as Bloody Rose when they're all done, so I decided to go with the red armor as I quite liked it. However, I really like the yellow ink I have, so I decided to go with yellow on the robes. So with that, I would just like to say a very big thank you to all of those who watched this far. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and maybe drop a comment. The subscribe button probably wouldn't hurt either if you want to see more like this. A massive thanks to those who have done that already. You guys are awesome. Anyways, I shall see you in the next one. Stay safe and have a good one all.